Roblox has officially vowed to start removing notoriously inappropriate games from the platform, and we must hold them to that for the rest of their Robloxian lives. When I say good examples of the games they should be going after with these new rules would be Meep City or Robloxian High School, that should be good enough for everyone to know what I am talking about, but I'm still gonna dive into this and tell you guys everything that you need to know. But before I do that, please make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe because it helps me out a lot and it gives you guys a lot of swag. That's how it works. Okie dokie, so today Roblox's new terms of use went into effect. Experiences can now be taken down if developers fail to prevent users who actively violate the rules and more, raising many concerns for several different communities across the platform. Oh no, this must be absolutely devastating for the Meep City community. You know, I truly wonder if the Meep City fandom is a real thing. Like, are there people out there right now defending Meep City because they love it that much? They play Meep City every single day. Their entire personality is Meep City. They eat, sleep, breathe, anything and everything Meep City. They are the Meep City fandom, and this news to them must be the worst day of their lives. I don't know, but the thing that we are talking about today and the main thing that we need to focus on from this tweet is if developers fail to prevent users who actively violate the rules. So this is not the games themselves specifically breaking the rules, because as we know, Meep City on its own, just in general, does not break a single Roblox rule. If we take all of the players out of Meep City and go into that game just on our own, everything is unbelievably innocent. Like, all of the stories and all of the screenshots that we see coming from Meep City, all of the inappropriate stuff, none of that is technically in Meep City. The game by itself is completely innocent. There is nothing in that breaking the rules, and that is why it's never gone down. That's why it's always been up, and also why eventually they just completely removed parties, because that was probably the main problem with Meep City. But today, these new rules are now going into effect. All of the developers, they need to agree to this, and if they don't, they cannot continue using Roblox until they agree. That is the only option. So what they mean by experiences can be taken down if developers fail to prevent users who actively violate the rules is, once again, we're going to use Meep City as an example because this is probably the best example that I can think of right now. The party feature in Meep City was also made to be very innocent. There was technically nothing wrong with that. The only inappropriate content and the misuse of it came from people using it in a way that it was not supposed to be used. So all of those NSFW parties that we've seen in Meep City, all of the inappropriate content that we've seen happening inside of the parties in Meep City was not really features within the game. It was more people using it in that way to make it seem inappropriate. So if the developers of Meep City were to continue ignoring that and they didn't stop that from happening, even though the content wasn't technically in the game itself, it wasn't part of the game, the developers would have been aware that it was happening and they were like consistently misusing it and violating the rules. The game itself would have been taken down for the thing that those players were doing, which kind of does sound unfair in some cases, but for cases like Meep City where the developers knew that it was happening and did nothing to prevent it or stop it from happening or anything like that, that is where this would be fair, and that is where things like this need to happen, where the games need to be taken down if the developers fail to prevent users who actively violate the rules. One of the most notable changes is that any game with a large community that actively violates the terms of service can be taken down if the developer refuses to take action. Concerns arise about how this may affect controversial games like Robloxian High School and Meep City. Robloxian High School isn't one that I've dived into personally. I have seen a few things here and there about the game, but it's basically sort of the same concept as Meep City, I guess, for the fact that the game itself and all of the content within the game, none of it is inappropriate, it's innocent and all of that. It's the players within the game and the community of the game that starts to create inappropriate content out of the appropriate content. Like, they are creative in that way, I guess, but this still shouldn't be happening, and that's why games like this could now very easily get taken down as long as Roblox starts to implement this and they actually take action on these new rules that they themselves have started implementing. In the past, users have reported games that intentionally lack proper moderation and highlighting the potential challenges that developers face when running seemingly harmless games. With these changes, developers are now responsible for monitoring their players accordingly. Once again, I know that this sounds kind of ridiculous in some cases and it sounds a little bit unfair in some cases, but I would imagine that this is only for the major cases like Meep City. Of course, there is games out there that still seem innocent on the surface, but you can just tell, like, there is something about them to a point where you can tell that they were created with the intentions by the developers of allowing the players to turn it into something inappropriate, which technically could have got the game through filters, bypassing everything, and allowed it to stay up because it technically wasn't the game doing that. But again, they created it with the intentions of building a community of players that purposely does that. So hopefully that also falls under these things like the sus games or any other games that are like that. I'm pretty sure I've made videos about them before, not too deeply, but we all know what those types of games are supposed to be, even if on the surface they aren't inappropriate and there's nothing breaking the rules technically. Also, this one tweet in this RTC reply says, the Roblox developer and creator of Drive World Roblox Usering is being accused of neglecting the game Robloxian High School, removing all in-game moderation, which has resulted in a massive spread of NSFW content in-game. So this, once again, would be a very good example of the game technically doesn't have anything inappropriate in it, but the players within the game and the communities of the game going in there to like actively create that content would still get the game taken down. So again, hopefully Roblox does actually start implementing this and taking action on their own new rules. Something also worth mentioning is Green Lego Cats tweeted a few hours after the RTC tweeted about the new rules and the new agreement thing that we need to do, and said, looks like Alex Neutron may have agreed to the Roblox's new terms of service. Either he follows it and Meep City gets better moderation, or Roblox closes Meep City again. So he was like last seen online 5 hours ago in this screenshot, which was the time that Roblox started to put out these agreements, which once again the developers need to agree to them to continue using Roblox, and if they don't, they just can't continue using Roblox, and any of the games that go against these new rules will just be taken down, and that's the end of that. So if Alex Neutron truly was online to accept these new terms of service and stuff, that would mean that Meep City might get updated soon, and if it doesn't, I would definitely think that that is the biggest example of games that should be taken down under these new rules. But it's still very early, so all we can do right now is wait and see, and once again all we can do is keep hoping that Roblox actually follows through with this and what they are saying. Also, very quickly, going back to like a month ago, I think this was at the beginning of January that we first saw this, just in case anybody missed it, because Roblox said that they were updating their terms of use. The most important one, like concerning what we were talking about today, is they said in section 6, whatever that means, if we find an experience in which a significant portion of users are egregiously violating the Roblox terms, Roblox reserves the right in its sole discretion to moderate the experience if the developer does not take reasonable actions to limit the violative behavior. Which in much simpler terms is exactly everything that I just told you guys. If the game itself doesn't have anything bad in it, it can still get taken down if the players consistently break those rules and the developer does nothing about it. That's basically what this entire thing is. So please, the comments is the place to go. Tell me what you guys think about Roblox potentially banning some games with terrible communities. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.